Hello and welcome to another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Today we're going to take a look at another puzzle from the Galactic Puzzle Hunt 2018, which this appeared about a month ago, I guess, now, and it involved two of my favourite things. And the puzzle was called Split the Reference, and a reminder for those of you who aren't used to Puzzle Hunt puzzles, the idea is to turn what we're about to see into a word or phrase. And that's all you have to do. And these puzzles are all, they have no instructions. You simply have to think sort of laterally, I suppose, around the topic and go from there. Let's see if we can actually get it to load. There we go. So there it is. Hopefully you can see it on screen. It's called Split the Reference, as I said before, and it's a series of sentences. Let's read one. The elderly man who serves as a mentor to the main character once defeated a close friend with this first name who had turned to the dark. Okay, now if you're anything like me, this clue will be ringing huge bells in your brain as you start to think about the greatest film series of all time, of course Star Wars. Let's read another clue, see if that makes any sense. This is the surname of the male character in the protagonist trio who is not the main character. Their love interest is the female member of said trio. Okay, this all seems very much Star Wars related to me. The main character is said to have inherited their impressive flying ability from their father, who demonstrated these skills in this sport. And so what I did, and I suspect what you're doing, is you'll flip through, filling in the answers as you go, based off your extensive knowledge of the Star Wars theme. One of my favourite clues is this one. This diminutive pointy-eared character passes away in the final instalment of the story. The main character witnesses their death. Diminutive pointy-eared character? Yeah, I'm sure we're all thinking of the same little green friend. Now, the brilliant thing about this puzzle is that for some people, they may not be thinking about Star Wars. They may be thinking about a different series. And hopefully you can see on the screen now another diminutive, pointy-eared character passing away in the final instalment of the story, and the main character witnessing their death. And this is where the sort of beautiful nature of this puzzle comes out, because now let's reread that. Let's reread the second clue again and see if it rings any bells. This is the surname of the male character in the protagonist trio who is not the main character. Their love interest is the female member of said trio. And hopefully, with the little Dobby reference we've just seen, you're now starting to think, well, hang on, that sounds like Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. Perhaps this isn't Han Solo and Princess Leia after all. And in fact, if we go through all of these clues, we'll find that, right down to that one at the start of the story, the main character lives with their aunt and uncle who have this surname. Well, all of these clues, in fact, have two answers, depending on whether you're thinking about Star Wars or Harry Potter. This cylindrical object that sometimes emanates coloured light and is often personalised for the wielder is the main character's weapon of choice. These are all fantastic. So here obviously we've got a lightsaber and a wand. But what does all this mean? How can we turn this into our word or phrase? Well, what we have to do, once we've got a complete set of answers, and I'll show you what those answers are now. So the elderly man who serves as a mentor to the main character once defeated a close friend with this first name who had turned to the dark. Well, that's Anakin Skywalker, who was once defeated by Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course, and also Grindelwald from the Harry Potter series, who you may remember Dumbledore combated with, I think in the time before the Harry Potter books actually happened, or Harry Potter was alive in any case. And this is the surname of the male character of the protagonist. Well, this is Han Solo in Star Wars, and Ron Weasley, as we said before. The flying ability, demonstrated skills, well, pod racing. Anakin Skywalker was a pod racer, you may remember from the the first episode of Star Wars series, and Quidditch was, of course, Harry Potter's dad's main sport of choice. The slightly more difficult main character slays this dangerous beast in the subterranean cavern where a female character recently involuntarily wound up. Well, in the Harry Potter stories, that's the Basilisk, and in the Star Wars stories, that was the Rancor in Jabba's palace, of course. Main character, well, is affiliated with a paramilitary group. I think that's meant to be the Rebellion, or the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars, and it's the Order of the Phoenix in the Harry Potter books. The cylindrical object, well, we've said that's lightsaber and wand, and interestingly enough, the surname of the famous composer, well, that's the same John Williams, actually compiled the music for both. Surname of the character who was in love with the main character's mother, kills the main character's elderly mentor, and ultimately dies battling the antagonist. Well, that's Skywalker in Star Wars, and Snape in the Harry Potter books. And we've already talked about Yoda and Dobby. Slightly difficult Star Wars reference there. You may remember that's Lars, who the surname of the aunt and uncle. And of course, in the Harry Potter books, the people who keep him in the cupboard under the stairs are the Dursleys. And finally, well, we've got the female members, so we've got Hermione and Leah. So now we have to try and turn these into a word. And you may have been noticing these enumerations that we're seeing at the end of each clue. And so what I'm going to put on the screen now is how these if we just take this letter from each of the answers, let's see if that gives us anything useful. Now you should be able to see those letters on the screen now, and you're probably trying to read a message from them. If you're anything like me, that's what you'd be trying to do. Well, that's not going to be quite enough. We have to try and think of something else to do with these letters in order to extract what we need. And the clue perhaps this time is in the title. So split the reference is a slightly unusual phrase, but it may remind you of a different phrase. Split the difference. And once you have that idea, if you take the midpoint between the two letters that you've found in each indexed clue, you should be able to see a new phrase appearing. What a wonderful puzzle this was. I mean, the Galactic Puzzle Hunt was full of wonderful puzzles, but I thought this was really very elegant, combining as it did two of my favourite things in life. So I thought I'd share it. Thanks for watching, something a bit different today, and we'll see you again next time on Cracking the Cryptic.